When you think about ducks, I'll bet what comes to mind are fluffy little birds lazily swimming around a pond or eating bread out of your hand. But what if I told you that one group of ducks, the sea ducks, have some of the most extreme lifestyles of any bird in the world, with everything from 3,000-mile non-stop flights to speed records that put human engineering to shame? It may sound far-fetched, but these incredible ducks are real, and they're probably closer to home than you think. My name is Evan, and this is Harrison. We're twin brothers on a mission to make you an insider in the natural world. And to do that, we want to show you that you don't always have to travel far to find some of the planet's most mind-blowing life stories. And sometimes they even play out in the places you go every day. When you look more closely at nature as an insider, a whole new world of unbelievable secrets will be revealed. And that is exactly what we're doing today.
We're here in coastal New Jersey on our first major life listing outing of the year, and our main target today are sea ducks, but what we have behind us are actually brant. Now those are geese, not ducks, but their story is really interesting and gives us good context for why all these birds are here.
Atlantic brant are pretty small geese, and they're kind of unassuming at first, but the journey that they take to get here is absolutely unbelievable. Now, brant and the sea ducks are winter migrants here in New Jersey, so they're spending the warmer months up in their breeding grounds in the northern reaches of North America and Eurasia, and many of these species are actually breeding in the Arctic Circle, and that includes the brant.
They actually nest farther north than pretty much any other species of goose, but there isn't enough food or shelter there to support them all year round. So they'll migrate down to specific wintering grounds in milder climates to wait out the cold weather. Now, what's particularly impressive about the brant's migration is how far they travel to get here. Some populations of brant will travel over 4,800 kilometers, that's 3,000 miles, just to reach their wintering grounds.
What's even crazier is that the brant actually make this journey in one go. So they will fly sometimes 50, 60, or even 70 hours without stopping. And in fact, all of these sea ducks have migrated in from incredible distances, with some of them flying hundreds or even thousands of kilometers to reach wintering grounds like the Atlantic and Pacific coasts of the US, as well as the coastlines of Western Europe and Eastern Asia, depending on the species.
Now, as you can imagine, by the time the brant arrive here, they are absolutely exhausted, and actually they can lose up to 30% of their body fat just in the one migration they make to get here. So it's really important that when they arrive, they're able to get a lot of food to replenish those energy stores. So we're gonna let these guys refuel as we check out some of the other sea ducks that we came here to see. Not many people have probably heard of sea ducks, but the more you learn about them, the crazier they get. Just their size range alone is really impressive, and they actually have contenders for both the largest and the smallest ducks in North America. Let's start with the big ones. Common eiders are really eye-catching ducks that can grow to have a wingspan of 110 centimeters and reach 3 kilograms in weight. That's 6.5 pounds.
Right, and compare that to something like a mallard duck, which weighs about 1.25 kilograms on average. So you can see, these are big birds. This makes the common eider the largest duck across most of North America. They're really only beaten by one other species, the Muscovy duck, which only naturally occurs at the southern tip of Texas. And if that wasn't enough, the bufflehead, another sea duck species that migrates here in small numbers, is actually rivaled only by the green-winged teal for the title of North America's smallest duck, as they can grow to have a wingspan of about 55 centimeters and a maximum weight of 550 grams, and they average even smaller, around 370 grams, so that is a very small bird.
This tiny size actually gives them a big advantage because they're able to maintain a very high metabolism, which allows them to move through the water with incredible speed and agility. And they're able to dive pretty much constantly while hunting, even in very cold conditions. All of this is just the first clue that sea ducks are pretty special, so let's back up and take a look at the bigger picture. Now, the first thing you'll notice about these sea ducks is how striking their coloration is, and like a lot of birds, it's actually the males that have the really bright colors. And they've evolved these patterns for one reason: to find a mate. And for these sea ducks, it's actually mating season. And though some of them are still looking for love, many of them are already paired up, because on the whole, sea ducks are monogamous, and they'll spend many years with the same partner.
The challenges that sea ducks face with their extreme lifestyles has forced them to adapt in some incredible ways, and there's one of them that's taken the idea of a sea duck and really run with it.
Over my shoulder here, we have some long-tailed ducks. Now these birds are unmistakable, their tail totally gives them away, but that is not nearly the coolest thing about them. All the ducks on the rocks here are trying to feed, and that is something that the long-tailed duck absolutely excels at.
Sea ducks have a fascinating feeding style, as they are diving birds, so they will hunt their prey underwater and sometimes at significant depths. Now, what they eat varies, with species like eiders preferring mollusks and crabs, while others will take things like different crustaceans, aquatic insects, or even fish.
Though they're all well adapted to this aquatic hunting style, the long-tailed duck has really taken things to the extreme. They can spend up to a minute underwater and dive to 60 meters or more, which makes them the deepest diving ducks in the entire world.
The secret to their success actually comes down to their swimming technique, because while most sea ducks only use their feet to propel themselves, the long-tailed ducks have adapted to use both their feet and their wings to literally fly through the water, which allows them to dive much deeper than other species, which limits the competition they have to face for food.
The wintering grounds that these sea ducks choose give them consistent access to food sources, and with how rich this area is with things like crustaceans and mollusks, this is really the perfect place for them to spend the colder months. Long-tailed ducks are certainly impressive, but that's not even the craziest use of their wings that sea ducks can boast. Compared to some of the others, the red-breasted merganser may not be the most visually striking, but they hold an incredible secret. You're looking at the fastest duck in the entire world. While a surprising number of sea ducks can fly up to 80 kilometers per hour, the red-breasted merganser has been clocked at over 160 kilometers per hour. That's 100 miles per hour, which is really impressive for a duck.
But my favorite part of the story is how we found this out. It wasn't just through some study or something. A merganser was actually seen outrunning a plane that was moving at least 100 miles an hour, which kind of blows my mind a little bit. Now, the red-breasted merganser is also very fast in the water, and they need to be in order to catch their favorite food, which are small fish. And that's also why they have that really thin and serrated beak, because it allows them to hold on to really slippery prey. It never ceases to amaze me that the sea duck tribe holds so many records among ducks, and that just goes to show that the pressure for these birds to adapt and evolve has been incredibly intense. These are harlequin ducks.
Now these are one of the biggest attractions for birders coming out to see the sea ducks, and it's really not hard to see why. They are absolutely adorable. They really don't look like an animal that would come from the Arctic, but they do.
And they're one that we're very happy to see. The adorably round appearance of harlequin ducks is not an accident, as their smooth and dense feathers actually provide amazing insulation from the cold water and even colder wind. Now, they're distributed widely across northern North America in several different populations, and while overall they're doing pretty well, the harlequin ducks that winter here in New Jersey are actually endangered, because they've actually lost a lot of their breeding and wintering grounds to habitat destruction and climate change.
The plight of the harlequins is just one of the issues facing sea ducks around the world. And though none of them are threatened with extinction right now, a study of 15 sea duck species found that 11 of them were declining. And to make things more challenging, because their life stories play out over such huge geographic areas and their breeding sites can be really tricky to access, we actually know surprisingly little about the intricacies of their lives. So there's a lot of work left to do to protect these birds into the future.
Sea duck conservation quickly gets complicated because they travel so much during the year. So to protect them, you need to preserve vastly different habitats all over the globe, from the Arctic tundra to the waterways of at least 3 different continents. It may seem like we as individuals can't really help with a problem of this scale, but there's actually something that anyone can do that can provide critical knowledge for sea duck conservation. And that's life listing, the activity that brought us out here today. Now, you may be wondering how just writing down what species you see somewhere can help anything, but think about this. This sea duck spot is one of our most productive winter birding locations, and so we life list this area every year right around the same time. What that means is not only do we get a good record of what species are in the area when we're there, but by comparing our observations to previous years, we can also find out how things are changing over time and notice population trends that we might not pick up on if we only thought about the present moment. What helps even more is that there are millions of birders around the world who keep their own life lists. So as a community, we can actually gather a ton of vital information across almost the entire ranges of these birds. And researchers can use this wealth of citizen science knowledge to make more informed decisions about how to best protect the sea ducks. The best part is that life listing is open to anyone. You don't need to be a professional scientist or even know crazy amounts about birds to do it. All you need is patience and practice to use your observations to gain incredible insights into the lives of these birds and the world around you. If you want to join us on another life listing mission here in New Jersey, check out this video where we explore the area's salt marshes during the amazing fall bird migration. And with that, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.